Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson, and I am so excited to be with you. And I am so excited to share this news with you, folks. You guys know I started in November of 2020 on this journey with YouTube, forced back onto Rumble, back to YouTube. I mean, strikes, everything that went on with this channel. You guys have followed me. I thank you so much for sticking with me, my loyal audience. You guys are awesome. So do me a favor, please do smash that like and do chat in with where you're from. But the things that we have so long sought, the things that we have so long fought for, we are finally beginning to see. And I know people are impatient. Let's just be real. I mean, we went through hell the last 4 years. Well, actually, really, the country's been through hell the last 8+ years with all the hoaxes, the Russia collusion, the fine people hoax. Man, I could name them all. You guys know Alpha Bank, the PP tapes, the 2020 election, everything, COVID. Folks, I mean, this has been nuts. But we are now seeing something that is absolutely amazing. And I have a special guest this morning because he has given up his life for this fight. He has fought this more relentlessly than anybody I know. I've watched this. I've worked alongside of him in certain capacities, but I am so impressed with his tenacity, his stick-to-itiveness, and that's the great Mike Lindell, folks. So, Mike, I want to welcome you on the show today. It's always great to have you on. But we have big news. We have big news now. And you've sent me some things we're going to share with the audience, but there are so many things going on behind the scenes. And I think this is where the great disconnect with people is. And we were talking about this briefly before the show, and I want you to talk about this, Mike. But there is this need to see justice, and there is this complete lack of patience. Now, Trump has been in office, is this 6 months? Going on 7?
Yeah.
And I think of all the things that have happened. We are literally zero for the last 3 months. 0 releases from Customs and Border Patrol. 0. And I'm just looking at all the things that are happening, and now dealing with the elections.
Right.
Like, this has been your thing. This is you've worked on this. There was something that there's a couple examples of things where you've gotten things across the line. I mean, Ventura, California. Then you've got what's the state down in the southeast where we actually saw some results. But I'll let you talk about that. But talk just about what you see going on. You've talked to Trump about this, and then the whole issue of patience and what we're seeing, when we can see results, how this works. We've got midterm elections coming up. People are freaked out. So
right. And this is the most important thing is our election platforms. You got everybody. You can talk about the illegals. You can talk about the fentanyl. You can talk about wars. You can talk about anything else. Our election platforms, if we don't secure them within the next 6 months, that means get to paper ballots, hand counted, or even a combination, so we have enough out there. This could all be in vain. All the great things. When I was talking to our president, I said, sir, I promise you these next 4 years will not be in vain, because we have teams on the ground. He's coming from the top down to secure our elections and finally get to what we've been fighting 4.5 years for, when we learned that these computers cannot be used in our election. The 2020 election, everybody, will go down as the most important election in history. Not any other election, that one. And why is that? Because that's the one that has exposed everything. That gave it, it's the onion. You're opening up and going, wow, look at what almost happened to us as a nation. They were going to steal it all without firing a shot, and but it didn't happen. And everything that's happened, Neil, over the past 3-4 months, you got to go back to where our president put out an executive order for our election platforms. He put it out for to no QR codes, and it was a start. It was about 70%. He told everybody of what he wanted, but the states aren't following that. They're not following. We're fighting down in Arkansas. We're fighting all over the place, and it's disgusting. They're not following. But a couple of key things happen in the meantime, and one of the things with we won the thing with My Pillow in Colorado in May, but one of the things they put up there, everybody, was that the old Frank speech of Mike Lindell, even though the jury said I did nothing malicious, and I believe what I say, which means that it's the First Amendment right of free speech. Now, let me tell you, everybody, they brought up this. They always bring up, Mike Lindell doesn't have evidence. His evidence is bunk because he lost this $5 million challenge. The judge brought this up, and the other guys brought this up during the judge allowed it during that trial in Colorado. Well, everybody, 2 weeks ago, it was the #1 story. It went out to 58 countries. Mike Lindell's $5 million challenge was overturned by the 8th District Federal Court in Minnesota. And this is so key, everybody, because all of this, they can't point to that anymore. The president sent me he sent me a text. Congratulations, Mike. Same thing you just said about never stop, never stop. This was a miracle because it hadn't been done in over 40 years. The odds of getting it overturned were millions to one. It just doesn't happen. They don't overturn a district appeal and binding arbitration. And so this was a miracle, everybody. And I'm telling you right now, then all the stuff that I was going to get on here and say about, that the president said he was going to do, just in the last 2 days, it's fallen out. As you and I were going to do this show, here we are this morning. I look up or last night, and he's putting out this digging into all the voter rolls in the country, starting with California, Texas, and good old Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me add this in. Here was the executive order you were referencing. This was way back in March, but this now is what you're talking about, Mike. So let me, I'm going to blow this up here and we'll talk about this. But this is really interesting because, I guess Rainmaker, you're from Minnesota. Michelle's from Minnesota. There's a bunch of Minnesota crowd here on this. And of course, I'm from Minnesota, but this is big. Donald Trump from President Post. David Spunt, hi, Aisha, good morning. Today, next week, the week after, and so on, DOJ officials will continue to work on what they call the Department of Serious Problem with our voter rolls. This all stems now. You will note that Colorado is fighting giving over their information, as is Minnesota. I want to note that really quickly here. And we'll talk about remedy there. But this all stems from a March executive order signed by President Trump, which states in part the Attorney General shall, consistent with applicable laws, coordinate with state attorney general to assist with a state level review and prosecution of aliens unlawfully registered to vote or casting votes. Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed her team to check counties across the United States, but California is a big focus. Now, and Mike, how many months was it after the election when we finally found out who won these congressional seats in California? I want to say it was 3 months after the election.
Well, and that could be why and there was 9 of them. They stole 9 of them, everybody, that we know of. 9. Okay, they stole 4 senators and 9. That could be why he's focusing on California. What surprised me is Texas and Minnesota. A lot good. Texas didn't surprise, but Minnesota surprised me. Here's why, is I know, and I've turned all this in to the administration, but when I bought every voter roll in the United States, and I bought and I have them all, and one of the worst ones is Wisconsin, and I'll give you guys an example with Wisconsin. They have 7.2, are you ready, everybody? 7.2 million names on their dirty voter rolls in Wisconsin. If everybody voted that could vote, that could register to vote, it's a little over 4 million. You have 3 million names. It doesn't mean there are illegals on there. What it means is there's some illegals, but most of them, maybe they don't live in Wisconsin or they're deceased. It's disgusting. This is just one state. And you look at that and it's just absolutely, and when anyone says, well, Mike, what does this have to do with computers? What does this have to do with computers? You guys, it's all tied with the computers. This is where they pull when the elections go on, as everything's online, they're pulling names from their dirty voter rolls, plugging them in, and it's harder for them on game day if you have election day and not election season, because then they actually flip it, and it's a little more obvious when they do that. When you go in to vote, and they go, oh, you vote Democrat, you vote Republican, whatever it is, and all of a sudden it's flipped. Because remember, everybody, this goes both ways with these computers. All over Kansas back in 2022, and the Republican or the Democrat votes were getting flipped to Republicans right in front of people. Now you say, well, why is that? Because this uniparty, they don't care about the people. They do whatever it is to keep this thing selected rather than elected.
A great example of this, Mike, since you brought that up. Right now in the great state of New Hampshire, okay, they have, you're going to have to mention Rev 7. I mean, we're both drinking them, but but I want to mention in the great state of New Hampshire, I just got off the phone with Tom Murray. Many of you guys know Tom Murray last night. And we were talking, and their new governor out there, who Kelly Ayotte, okay, who took over for Sununu, and Sununu wanted her in there, and Sununu is a uniparty hack if ever there was one. Well, it turns out that Ayotte,
he's the worst.
He's awful, and I mean, he literally jailed people who were opposed to him. I mean, it's a wild story. I can't get into all that, but Ayotte, they had banning women from men's locker rooms. This quote unquote Republican conservative governor, she vetoed the bill. So you have all these conservatives working to get these bills across the finish line, and Kelly Ayotte, the governor of New Hampshire, is vetoing those bills. So this is the uniparty in action. So, and
absolutely. That's why everything is so important that these men.
Well, Mike disappeared. So I'm going to send him a text, but I'm going to finish reading this. Let me just send him a text here quick. Because this is good stuff. I want to get to what he's got here. Mike, you dropped off. Your connection is weak. He'll come back on, but your connection's been kind of suffering this morning, Mike. I don't know what it is, but it's suffering.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me try something here. Oh, you know what? Sorry, the Wi-Fi didn't have my Wi-Fi on. I'm very sorry.
That's okay. Let me just, I'm going to finish reading this, as well while you're doing that. Let's see. Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed her team to check counties across the United States, but California is a big focus, as is Texas and Minnesota. The DOJ plans to prosecute any foreign nationals that get caught voting. A DOJ source tells Fox News election integrity starts with clean voter rolls. Folks, this is huge. Clean voter rolls is so big. That's the foundation for secure elections. There's been a culture of non-compliance from several states that don't keep their rolls updated. Michigan's another prime example in this. Michigan that added like close to 700,000 voters to the voter rolls shortly before the 2020 election. I looked up dead voters. That's a real thing. I looked them up in the Michigan Secretary of State system. This DOJ is cracking down. Now the Justice Department wants local officials to identify and remove felons, dead voters, non-residents, and non-citizens for voter rolls. Recently, the department charged an Iraqi man for illegal voting in 2020 in the state of New York. It took several years to catch that one. Last year, a 19-year-old Chinese national was charged in Michigan with perjury. There's Michigan, and attempting to vote illegally in the 2024 election. Now, Aisha, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, took a big hand in stopping illegal voting. Even though Elon Musk is no longer with that agency, DOGE itself still has a hand in this movement. Finding illegal voters will take time, but the Justice Department is in regular contact with the White House about the latest progress in fulfilling this executive order. There you are. Now, Mike, I think a couple things that are real.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yes, you're doing great. Now, Elon Musk, again, he's no longer with Doge, but the efforts of Doge are valuable. So, folks, even though Elon Musk kind of went off the rails, applaud him for the work he did and thank him for that. We do not. One of the things I think we need to watch here on our side is people who actually have ideas and a stick-to-itiveness and are willing to put their money where their mouth is. And Elon Musk did that. Again, even though he came on AWOL, just give people credit for what they do and then just move on. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about, trying to attack everybody and call this person bad and this person good. People are complex, okay? There are people who are clearly bad, like Mitch McConnell. But they're drinks that are clearly good, like Rev 7, Mike.
Right on.
So you've been out of this. I know some of my audience has been trying to order, and you have not been able to fulfill orders. Tell us just briefly about that.
Yeah, but it was a couple weeks ago, you guys. Everybody just, they couldn't keep up production. Now we actually have 2 factories, and this is it. Made in the USA, no sugar, no caffeine, the best energy drink ever. And they come in Tuesday. You can order now, and we're never going to run out again. It was a good problem to have, but we got it back. We got it back in, and it is the most amazing energy drink. You got the mental clarity and the focus, and you don't get the jitters, and you don't get the all the things with the bad stuff of what we did is we took out the bad stuff of other energy drinks and put in good stuff that's actually healthy for you. And
Mike, I've gone back to teaching group cycle twice a week at the health club in Hibbing. We just started doing that again. I always have a Rev 7 with me when I go to teach group cycle.
Right
on. I juice up before I would just Rev 7. It's fantastic. And I love how it says this: 0 caffeine, 0 sugar, 0 crash. I've never experienced a crash from this. So it's wonderful stuff. You guys can get a 3-pack, a variety pack free. Call in with any order today, and use that mypillow.com/lumberjack. You guys save all the products there. We added too, Neil. We added these big bath sheets. They're like our bath towels, but they're these big bath sheets. We've got bath mats, all these products that people don't realize. All the bath products, all the kitchen products. We've got new health products up there, so you can do all your shopping and then get a free pack of Rev 7 to boot. If you buy $75 or more, you get over $120 now of free digital gifts, and you guys are absolutely going to love those. All right, let me. I didn't know about these bath sheets, Mike. See, these are things like I can't even keep up with all the products you make, but because I love your towels. I tell people my 3 favorite towel products are the Giza sheets, the Giza towels, and the travel pillows. And now the Rev 7. So now I got 4. They're kind of unrelated because one wakes you up and one puts you to sleep.
And a lot of people would argue with you. A lot of them, they'll go, well, I love the slippers and I love the ribs, the My Pillow. You guys, we've sold 85 million My Pillows now. And why is that? Because they work. They give you the great sleep you need. That's pretty amazing.
There's so much stuff. Look at this. Your slippers. I mean, I want to get to the news here. I really do. But folks, go get. Oh, they're running $69.98 right now, as low as $69.98. So that's it.
No. Those are the queens. Those are the queen size. Should say queen on there. We'll get that changed. Click on that once.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to get that changed. I'll get that changed right away because that should just be the queen size. Yeah, I'll get that changed as soon as we get off air here. You guys, you guys don't click on the Giza until you give it about 25 minutes, and I'll get that. You just found a little glitch there.
Yeah, well, that's what we do, and then you just keep giving us better deals for my audience.
Right, absolutely.
Go support Mike. Look, if you believe in election integrity, the effort that Mike has done, I just want to encourage you. Please go check out mypillow.com/lumberjack. But my favorite is call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. Again, that's 800-568-2865. You can see the number right there. But go support the efforts because, Mike, I know for a fact. Between being dropped by Walmart, I think Bed Bath and Beyond, there were so many that dropped you. Okay. There's no way. All of them. Yeah. There's no way your sales didn't get drastically affected.
We're the most attacked company in history. And it was so important that we won that case in March. Can you imagine being on a podcast, everybody, advertisers going on there, and somebody says something wrong or says something wrong on TV, and you sue the advertiser too? This is just bizarre. They tried to just destroy our country, and they've done everything with lawfare to destroy My Pillow. We've been canceled everywhere, but you guys, you're a great audience, has kept us going, so you guys call in and use that promo code Lumberjack. You're going to get the best specials of any of our stuff. And, you're going to save up to 80%. I know it says 66% there, but we've got We've got, people don't realize we have over 250 products. So you guys check them all out. And most of them are made in the USA, and you'll absolutely love it. I wanted to say, when we go back to the Elon Musk thing, everybody. He's also right now, it just announced yesterday, he's putting in a lot of money towards these midterms. He realizes how important it is that we don't lose these midterms and the primaries. And I know he's got all the evidence and information that we had from the 2020, the 2022, and the 2024 election. Elon knows the computers need to go, and we got to get to paper ballots hand counted. I'm kind of hoping one of these days he's got a very big voice. He should be putting the word out. But it seems like our great president, they just keep doing stuff to get to that finish line, because we're looking at October, everybody. You guys could really check out, if you go to LindellPlan.com too, and check out the Lindell Offense Fund, because there's actually a plan where the machines will go a countdown. They're made with China parts and other things. So we're coming at this from so many different angles, Neil, to get rid of these and get to paper ballots and count it before the primaries.
Yeah. This I want to bring up this. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard confirmed that the 2020 election was compromised and the federal government knew about it. Now, Mike, one of the things, and we talked about this, and I want you to address this because we're talking about like the secret plan. Now, a lot of things are being held close to the vest, and I think this is where it's important to note, people, this is really important. I want you to grab hold of this. In fact, Mike, I want you to talk about California, Ventura County, California, just a little bit. I mean, you guys did great work there. That got canceled, basically.
Yeah, well, there was Shasta. Shasta County, and you guys, this was real important because our teams went there, and in fact, I just talked to Kevin Cry, and I got Clint Curtis is now in charge there. He's actually a Democrat that worked with our team, the first guy that ever set algorithms to steal elections, and he's trying. And once he did that, then the Uniparty got a hold of it. He was showing here how it could be done, and the whole country of the Netherlands switched up. They got rid of the machines as fast as they could. This is the mid 2000s, back in 2007 and stuff, and and then Clint sounded the alarm as a Democrat. I mean, and he said, hey, these machines got to go. Well, now he's in charge of Shasta County, but they're still, here's what happened down there, everybody. We went in because in California, it was just like a lot of these other states, you can vote out the machines at the county level and go to paper ballots and count it. That's what they did. They did this, and right away, the county or it was Republicans came in first and said, "Oh no, you can't do this because of the handicap." Well, California had the best handicap laws there were, where if you're handicapped, you don't need a machine. Like they're saying, "Oh, you got to have a machine for handicap." Well, with the handicap in California, you can bring a friend, you can bring anybody with you. Or when you get there, somebody that's like a notary, you just sign it's okay for him to see who you voted for. How hard is that? That's the way it used to be. And California had the best law for that. Neil, as we went in and fought this for like 2 years, almost immediately in the first year, right away, they changed the law. So you're already abiding by the law. They changed the law and said, oh, no, you got to have machines for a handicap, which means that it was like going through mud. They tried to get rid of Kevin Cry. I mean, but they didn't give up there. But the one thing we did, everybody, is I kind of said, you guys, because 18 counties in California were going to follow suit. It was going to be a huge win. But the evil got out in front of it, and they stopped everything. So what I did, I said, you guys, we need to pull back. And we got out too far ahead of ourselves, because they're just going to, with Biden in, they're just going to keep changing the laws as we follow the law and get to paper ballots. Well, so that was by doing that. But we're in this fight now that our great president's in power. We're still going through these fights, but now we have a lot of our voice is bigger and everything. So now things that are going on, like in Arkansas, very similar down there.
There's where it was, Arkansas. That's the word.
Yeah, but very similar down there. But you brought up a good thing, because we did it in Shasta County, California, but now we're in Arkansas, and in Arkansas, everybody, same thing. You can vote out the machines at the county level. They did that in Cleburne County, Arkansas, a couple years ago, and right away, this guy named Kim Hammers, a Republican, shoved a bill through and said, if you're a county in Arkansas and you go to paper ballots hand counted, we're defunding your county. So they defund the county. Sarah Sanders is the governor there, everybody. She stamps and approves it. So Cleburne County goes, oh, I'm sorry. We'll bring back those machines. Well, they had one county that said, you know what, we don't care if we get defunded. And they pushed it through, and they did a great election. They did a great election in 2020.
This is confusing to me, Mike. Somebody mentioned something. I'm going to throw this up really quick, and then I got a question for you. Can you ask Mike to reach out to Tim Pool about the social credit app businesses are trying to implement? This needs to get to the Trump admin. So I just throw that out there for you, Mike. But
right.
The
bottom line is to unconfuse everybody. The bottom line is, even with our great president at the county level, at the people level, we're getting fought by our own party again, the uniparty Republicans.
Well, here's the thing I don't understand.
With Sarah Sanders being the governor there, it's disgusting.
Sarah was so pro-Trump. I mean, she was his press secretary. Trump's always had wonderful things to say about her. So what's going on there?
We don't know. You guys, this is the thing. Everyone always asks me that. Every state says, we're the worst state. We're the worst state. Well, you can say, hey, we're in Colorado, where it's the worst evil there is, with Jenna Griswold, who's a Democrat. You can be right here where I'm at in Minnesota and say, Walt is the worst governor in the country. I mean, there's so many things you can say. But when you get things that don't make sense when you're the people, I'm talking Democrat or Republican, liberals or conservative, if politicians are making decisions that don't help anybody, you got to ask yourself, what's the hidden agenda? Arkansas is a perfect example. Why would the county voted it? It's their right to do it. And then they come in and it goes off without a hitch, 100% accuracy. And they tell them that they're trying to tell these officials that made the decision that they can't even run in or can't even help elections now for 14 years. There's a big fight going on down in Arkansas. They don't want other counties going, hey, we'll just finance it ourselves because it's 10 times cheaper using paper ballots hand counted than using those electronic crooked voting machines. I mean, it's disgusting. And you know what? I believe our great president is going to call them out. He's going to start calling them out. He told them all a month and a half ago. He even mentioned Sarah by name. He goes, we need to get the paper ballots hand counted. We need one-day elections and all this. He goes, isn't that right, Sarah? This is, and oh yeah, that's right. And they don't follow the stuff he's saying there. So you guys, this is good news. He did announce a couple weeks ago, and that he's going to come out with a special prosecutor and a team that will enforce his executive order, at least let the public know, hey, and here's what they're doing at the state level or the county level, that they're hurting what his executive order is, and to save our country. Because if our elections, if we don't secure them, everybody, it's over. It doesn't matter. All these great things going on will just be a little moment in history going, what if? We'll all be going, what if? We got a window of time here, and it's not the next 3.5 years. It's the next year. This next year is critical to the future of our country and world, because if they steal the thing back, if they steal the House or the Senate back with these electronic voting machines, everything will go away. It will be over. I'm telling you, it will be over. But the good news is there's things being done that I can't even say here on the show. There's things being done across our country from different angles you wouldn't even believe. They're rezoning, or what do they call it? Rezoning a lot of places. Where they what's it called? Where you set your things for this is a Republican area. oh my gosh, I can't think, but where you set where your votes go. But anyway, there's that. There's what's that?
Are you talking about central count facilities?
But no, where you set up your different your voting things are. So like you have you reclass
your precincts.
Yeah, your precinct where you're resetting them all, so you get you end up with more seats. I forget.
Oh, you're talking about a congressional apportionment. Yeah, this is
right.
This is where this is another method of stealing, where they're basically this is why the fight is on over the illegal aliens. I'm sorry, I was watching a comment.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So you get rid of the illegal aliens.
Congressional districts.
Congressional. That's it. I'm sorry, but there's so many different angles. This isn't just Donald Trump or Mike Lindell doing something here, or my teams or whatever. There's so many things going on. I'm so proud of Tulsi Gabbard and her teams, and there's other things going on to get this from. This is so important. It's like a 10-prong approach, but so that we use everything humanly possible, and with God all things are possible to get through these primaries and get into the election. By the way, Neil, and I've said it before, and I'll say it here. I said 2 years ago. Right before the 2020 election, I was thinking of running for governor in Minnesota. Now, after the 2020 stolen election, and what I knew, I said I wouldn't run to be a dog catcher until we get rid of these voting machines. But I'm telling you guys, there's so many great things going on that I am very strongly considering it, because I believe that, Neil, but even if they're not all gone, let's say you got this part, let's say the voter rolls are clean enough. This is over here. You get a lot of places that have paper. Maybe you don't have it over here. And it doesn't matter if it's red or blue states that are an unwinnable state. I'm just saying that if they would try and steal it, you get enough fixed in this foundation, if they try and steal it, it's going to be such an obvious deviation that I think the whole country will demand this time in the 2026 year, next year, they'll demand that, hey, open up them machines. So you kind of got two good things going there. If we get it secure enough to where it stands out, where the whole country's going, hey, there's a problem here. This time we get to look into it. You can't just say you're a conspiracy theory and don't even look inside the machines. That ship sailed. That's gone, everybody. So we got that going for us.
This was the other thing that came out. This was like during the whole intelligence community, where they said critical infrastructure, even the internet now, and your comments that you're making on the internet were deemed critical infrastructure. They did this with the voting machines as well, which is what they're saying. Okay, it's critical infrastructure, but it's also intellectual property that you can't look under the hood of. Well, it's critical infrastructure, then we should certainly be able to look under the hood. They can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. And you talk about proprietary technology, make me throw up. It's a joke.
An adding machine.
Oh yeah, that's like going to your bank and they say, "Oh, you can't look at you." I'm sorry, we can't look into the computers. It's proprietary. We can't see what your bank balance is. We can't see where this problem was. This is the biggest lie ever told. Besides that, you can't look. They're not on the internet. What you're saying is impossible, Mike. What you're saying is impossible. Really? Well, it's all coming out now. So,
and Mike, I want to go back. We were talking briefly about Tulsi Gabbard, and so I just want to read this really quick. And I also want to mention too that in regards to all of this, the reason I had you bring up Shasta out in California, Shasta County, is because there are a lot of things, folks, going on that we're just not aware of, that they're holding close to the vest so that they can drop this at the right time. Okay. And I'm not talking about like trust the plan kind of Q kind of stuff. The military is in control. I'm talking about real things that are taking place here. So Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, confirmed that the 2020 election was compromised and the federal government knew about it. Earlier this year, during a high-level cabinet meeting with President Trump, she disclosed that the IC has been investigating election interference and tampering with EVS, including signs of foreign and domestic actors manipulating vote totals. Yeah. So here's what's interesting. And this was all came out in this whole Russia drop too.
Yeah.
Where they were talking about how Russia did not have the ability to hack our elections. That they understood, but they were still again, who does have the ability to hack our elections? And I asked this question the other day, and most of my audience got it right. We have the ability to hack our own elections. Our own deep state has the ability. We have the
That's
technological
exactly
know-how.
right. The
We have
uniparty.
That's who has the ability to hack it. The Russians may not be able to hack our elections, okay, but apparently the Chinese can flood our country with fake ballots. So there's a whole methodology to this. So just watch how the mainstream media presents this stuff.
Right.
And understand that they're just not being completely truthful. She said, I've got a lot of things that we're investigating. We have the best going after this, election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections. And Mike, that's what you've been pushing for.
Yeah, this is it. And then everybody, I want to say a couple things to that. Number one, paper ballots. You could say, well, my state has paper. I went in there. It doesn't matter that you have paper if it's counted by a machine. The machine's got to go. All the computers have to go. Period. There isn't a compromise. There isn't. Well, ES&S is good out of Omaha, Nebraska. They're all online. They're all compromised, and they're all.
They're not online. They're not connected to the internet.
When Tulsi Gabbard there said, by the way, when she said the vulnerabilities of the machine, this is how you have to guide into it, everybody, and this is what she's being careful. I want everybody really to listen to this. We learned, I'm glad you had me bring up Shasta County. That was a prime example that we showed our hand. We thought, well, this is the law. Man, we're going to plow through California and that'll be the first state machine free. Seriously, this is what I'd hope they.
No, I'm laughing, Mike, because when I got into this game in November of 2020, I thought, oh, we're just going to expose this crap and everybody's going to know. And then we're moving on with our lives.
Yeah, exactly. But you guys, that's the big, but you know what? You learn, just like a great president learned the first 4 years, and this 4 years he had in between here were just so important, everybody, that if Donald Trump would have been put back in January 6th or December 14th or any time back then going, yes, there was fraud here. And let's say they would have just used the fraud of the 3 swing states, but they didn't investigate how broad it goes with these voting machines. If he'd have been put back in, over. We lose our country knowing what we know now. He'll even tell you that. I told him that for 4 years. I said, sir, this is a good thing going on. People are like, their eyes are getting open, how bad, and people getting exposed, the evil getting exposed. And he just said it the other day. He said it himself the other day. He said, you know what? It was a good thing that things happened back then the way they did. And that's why he's going back. He's never letting go of 2020 because it has to be, everything needs to be found out. When you brought it up, who did this? You guys, who has access, who's doing this to our country? 4, I've told you this so many times now, everybody. The Uniparty, the deep state globalists, and the CCP. China's involved this way more than you know. And not just what you've seen now, these ballots brought in. This has been brought up in LA County. It was uncovered quite a while ago by like 2 years ago. And remember, there's only one voting machine company there, and that's Smartmatic, the only one they have in the country. But there was a China breach that they buried it all. They tried to suppress it. On January 7th, John Radcliffe, the head of the DNI, he came out on January 7th of 2021, the day after January 6th, said, hey, China, there was problems with China in the election. But everyone, you think you've seen that in the news when he's raising his hand at the day after January 6th? You think that was perfect timing for the Uniparty to attack our country and bury this. This is what's going on. And this is why I gotta tell you all, there are so many things going on, and everyone's gotta be patient, because our president, and they can't show their hand, just like I have my team. You can't show, we can go in, at least we can go in now and they can't change us out without them getting exposed like they're trying to do down in Arkansas. I mean, I'm sorry, now we have an administration that's going to especially call out these Republican governors and these Republican attorney generals and secretary of states, they better be following, at least them following what our great president and this administration is doing to secure our country. This is an attack on our country, not just the open border. This is an attack when your elections can all be hacked by anybody can hack it. This is a massive, massive problem. And even I've said it before, Neil, even if the machines, when they say, oh, they're vulnerable, you can't take a chance on election because everything comes from your election. Everything. That's why it's the number one. They just did a poll, everybody, in Minnesota. I just came back. Actually, it was part of my poll that because I'm polling to see if I run or not, and for governor. But this poll, that not all of it's back. But the early thing came in. What are people, at least in Minnesota, what's their biggest concern? This is Democrat, Republicans, both of them. In the top three by all of them was our elections, our election platforms. I mean, I think we've got the word out that what a good election is, like 132 other countries, machine-free elections, paper ballots, everybody, hand counted. And if the public wants that, Neil, when you got politicians that still go, oh, I love my Dominion machine, I love my ES&S machine, you're going, why? You better answer us and tell us why. And if they say, oh, well, it would be way more expensive to do it the other way. No, it's 10 times cheaper. Well, no, we've tested it. It's done at the same time as the machine.
How then is it that we don't know the results for 4 freaking months? Well, down in Argentina, they can hand count those puppies and know within hours. This is the most ridiculous argument of all time. It's been proven false all the time, over and over and over again.
We have taken all the arguments out of any reason for a politician or someone in charge of our elections to say, no, I don't want that. Every single thing we've taken out. And Neil, we have 3 hand counting systems. Get this, that is the best in the world. I've met with other countries, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Argentina. We have the best hand counting systems right here. You even have Taiwan's, but Taiwan's is so slow. I mean, well, we've taken everything into account, and then you add the cameras to it, and it's the foolproof, most secure system ever. It's not like going back to the Flintstone age, everybody. These are amazing systems. And by the way, I want to tell you this. Do you know, this is something that you should know, and I talked to a very high up official about this. This is what I had heard a long time ago as we were getting into this. Every state has a backup hand counted system in place. You know why? In case the power grid went down. They've been in place in every single state, but they just don't tell you that, because they made these dirty deals with all these machine companies that run our elections. And then when you question them, you get sued with lawfare. You guys, that ship sailed. I want to tell everybody, we are beating lawfare single-handedly. That's two big things in a row that I won in the last month. And by the way, we now with that Neil, with that $5 million challenge one, I know a lot of people have asked me, you guys, now we can go back and we're going to get a new trial for the 2-point-some million that they did with me in Colorado. I talked to my attorneys. We're getting a new trial. You know why? Because the judge said they could use that $5 million challenge that I lost, or that they said I lost, even though it was under appeal. Even though it was under appeal. So now we get to go back and do that. So
I just saw the funniest comment, Mike. I gotta pull this up. Please watch 2,000 Mules. Like, come on, like I haven't watched 2,000 Mules. What are you thinking here, Buzzy 181? I not only watched it, I bought copies and gave them out to people.
Right.
My gosh.
And let me tell you about 2,000 Mules, everybody. There was
Hey, Mike, one thing really quick. While you're mentioning that, I want to ask the audience a question. I want to see this in the chat while you're telling this quick thing about 2,000 Mules. Tell me, folks, right in the chat, what do you think the number one threat to our election systems is? I want to see what people are saying. Go on, Mike.
And this is what I want to tell you, everybody, is with 2,000 Mules, I was very concerned. And here's why I was concerned. Of course, it was a massive, massive cheating with ballot dumps. Okay, those are ways. There can always be cheating in elections. Okay, But as you see with 2,000 meals, that takes a coordinated effort of massive amounts of people. But it's still, all that would never add up to the 15 million votes that were flipped around with the 2020 election. You have to have computers to coordinate all that. So I was concerned. Let's say they would have overturned the election, and everyone would have said, "Look, it's because of all these people that were ballot dumping." And then they wouldn't have got rid of the machines. This is what I'm saying. You guys are all got to be careful. Yes, the election was stolen, but it wasn't about overturning it back to Donald Trump. It was for me in the beginning, but not for long. Once I realized the big problem is the electronic voting machine, other countries have realized it. 132 of them. 132 of them. And I don't even know how many countries there are in the world, but 132 of them know you don't use computers in your election. Okay, now I see something up there about judges. I want to tell you real quick. I'm going to assume his question. Why are the judges finally coming around? Well, you see my case. That's the first case against the machine stuff and the evidence that was overturned, and a complete win was here in Minnesota with the 8th District Court. You guys, judges, and that was 3 of them. It was unanimous. Now, let me tell you, judges are not all crooked. If you're a judge out there, do you want to be the first judge that says, "Hey, these machines got to go"? I mean, you feel for your family. I mean, this is a big thing. This is beyond anything you can imagine. This is why I believe they're going to get Tina Peters. I had told the administration, I said, the easiest way to get her out is put her in the federal witness protection program, and pull her out and put her somewhere so she's safe. And I just read an article, and I didn't know if it was true or not. I was going to tell you about it, Neil, just yesterday, that they said this is what the administration's doing now. And well, I haven't heard that, so I'm going to say that they're hoping that. But right now, that's the easiest way, and that's one of the only ways that our president can get her out, because they don't want her out. He's investigating now Colorado, crooked Jenna Griswold, all the election 2020, 22, and now 24, because the only evidence from 2020 and 2022 in Colorado is one piece of evidence, and that's Tina Peters' backup. By the way, you can see that at lindelltv.com. Go there. It says inside the machines. I put up all the evidence there, not just reports. You go have yourself a bug. Get yourself a cyber guy and see it for yourself. Or if someone says Mike Lindell doesn't have evidence, it's all right there.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. There are so many different things that went on in 2020, but to your point, if you have a system that is vulnerable, is connected to the internet, and people can add or subtract from that, that's a real legitimate problem.
Right.
And if we don't end that,
right.
Somebody, Decker's Bowls, Gerald said, I'm waiting for my coffee to brew. I've got a wedding to go to today, Mike, so I'm going to have to bring an end to this. But real quickly, just mention your specials really quick. mypillow.com/lumberjack.
Yeah, you guys get the Rev 7. You guys get a 3-pack free for signing up for subscriptions. You can cancel anytime. It's
back in on Tuesday, right?
Ever.
So if they order today,
they order today, you're getting it right away. Tuesday, you're getting it shipped out. All of the kitchen towels as low as $9.99. Those, we just had a new thing come in there with aprons, oven mitts, you name it for the kitchen. You guys check that out. Our pet beds, all the pet beds on sale. And those slippers now, they're going to be gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. This is really important. This is the lowest price ever on these slippers. I think they've been taken down everywhere. I think this is exclusive to you, but it's to Lumberjack. You're saving $110, $39.98. You guys, these have the impact gel. These slippers are $149.98. If anyone that's ever worn, they're the most amazing slippers in history. But once they're gone, they're gone. So get them now. And the slides and sandals, they're $19.98, and they're going to be, once they're gone, they're gone. They're closed out here for the summer, and this is it for those. You guys also when you get here, you'd have to almost click back to the main website. I don't see them on your square, but we have when you go into the bathroom, we have bath sheets. They're oversized bath towels, and they're absolutely and bath mats, everything for the bathroom. So you guys will take advantage. There's the coffee. You got, by the way, all the coffee. That was another thing. We went because everybody hit the coffee. The coffee now is back. And we had to take it down. We couldn't sell anymore because we had to keep covering people's subscriptions. That guy that brought up my coffee, the best coffee in history. That's a fact. There is nothing better. You save 50% there. Get the My Coffee. That's back in this week too. All flavors.
I didn't realize we're still running percales at $29.98 on my site.
Yeah, you're the only one doing that too.
I thought that deal was done, and I see
that you haven't. Yours hasn't been updated, so you're getting all kinds of specials and others.
There you go, folks.
And then I see the outlet sale too. If you go over there, the outlet sale, you guys. And when you get to mypillow.com / these are closeout. There, look at all this. There is clothing there. There's hundreds of products there that we're closing out our clothing line. People don't even realize we have. And so you guys check that out. Those are up to 80% off. What that is we put it as kind of like our warehouse. We only have one outlet store in the United States, and it's in Shakopee, Minnesota. We put everything from that outlet store up on the closeout on your sale there, Neil, up to 80% off. So you guys take advantage of that today. Use that promo code Lumberjack.
You got a tree skirt.
What's that?
You got a tree skirt.
Yeah. We got all these things for just your Christmas stuff now. QVC, the shopping channel that cancels, they have Christmas in July. We got Christmas all year long here at My Pillow. You come there, you got Christmas all year long. There's a song, "Why Can't Every Day Be Like Christmas" by Elvis Presley. That's what we go by. It can be like Christmas every day here at My Pillow.
Here, let's jump out here. They got that. You got the premium pillows on sale. That's going on right now. Look at that. Yeah, we get the deals. Oh, I love being Lumberjack Logic and getting the better deals. Let me tell you. Look at that per scale, $39.98, folks. $29.98.
No, you're at the main part of the website. This is what they're paying. If you go to mypillow.com / lumberjack, you're getting it for a lot less, everybody. And by the way, you just passed mystore.com. I'm going to mention this.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys go to mystore.com, over 1,000 USA made products and entrepreneurs. Promo code Lumberjack works there too, everybody.
Do you know what, Mike? So one of your guys off of my store sent me, there's hose washers on there, but they're silicone. And you know how hose washers are always just crappy and then they just wear out, on your garden hose? He sent me a couple of these. I put them in my hoses the other day. Leaks stopped. And the thing is, they're silicone hose washers, so they're going to last so much longer.
Right. It'd be amazing. You get over to my store, products like that. These are entrepreneurs, and this is their safe haven that they're not on Amazon. There we are, everybody. Look at all those categories up there. My store up at the top there. If you go to the top, look at those categories. I mean, you guys, there's everything you can imagine there. And if you go, and every one of them has a story behind it. A lot of their stories are told there. There's the kitchen and these unique made in the USA products. You can search and shop till you drop right there. The heck with the QVCs and the Amazons of the world. We're made in the USA. Mystore.com. Use that promo code Lumberjack. It's a win-win-win-win. You're helping entrepreneurs, help sponsor this great show that Neil puts on that helps save our country, and you're helping my employee-owned company, My Pillow. We actually do all the fulfillment for my store. So all of these entrepreneurs.
Steel Genie Garden. This is what I just put in. These things are awesome. Because, I mean, you buy these hose washers, and they're quote unquote rubber, but they're not. I don't know what they are. They're just crap. And after 1 year, they're gone. You guys know this. And then your hose is leaking and it's spraying out all over the place.
Yeah.
Now you can get a silicone hose washer. These things are great.
A pack of 10, it looks like, for $8. I mean, you can't beat that.
$9.
So all of these unique items. I mean, there's thousands of it. You guys, This took over, by the way, this has taken over 4 years to build this platform, because we vet every single entrepreneur and every product to make sure it's made in the USA, 100% made here. You're helping businesses across the country. We are actually going to do a huge push for my store and really get these guys supported, and because a lot of them, this is all they got, because if they go up on Amazon, their products get lost there, or they get copied by China, and they're just but yeah, look at the pet thing there, all the pet products that people can get. It's very interesting, but it's mystore.com, everybody. You can also get there by mypillow.com/lumberjack. Go down and click on the My Store page, but use the same promo code there. You can also call the same 1-800 number once you know what you have. And my operators, they're well versed in all these products too. So, but it's a very interesting website. Look at that. I mean, you can just keep going and going and going. We should do a whole show on My Store one of these days, Neil.
Well, you know, it's so wild, Mike, because I remember when you started this, I mean, there was like 10 products up here.
Right.
Seriously, it was like
Jimmy Kimmel made fun of it. He goes, look at Mike's new thing. He had it on TV. And I bet, I thought, you rotten. We're trying to build this for these entrepreneurs and these. Originally I did it to help other entrepreneurs get their products launched, because I went through the hardships and the copies and the things you have to go through. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put these guys up there and protect them. And Jimmy Kimmel just made fun of the site. And I wonder if he'd have me back on to show, hey, gee, Jimmy, can you go, I was a jerk and I was wrong,
Well, wait. Has Jimmy Kimmel been one of the late night people who's had their show taken away because they suck so bad?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens to him. I think he comes back in September, and I've actually put in a request going, Jimmy, why don't you have me back on now that you bashed me for 4.5 years, mocking me that Mike, I believe you believe the election was stolen. There's problems with these, but no, everybody else, they're just saying that. And I'd like to come back on there and see if Jimmy could humble himself and say, I was wrong. I was just evil doing this out of whatever, because I think he knows it was true, that all the, about the elections. And I really believe that. And that for these guys at late night to just sit there and feed garbage down and push it down people's throats. I did a whole show on my Lindell TV about what's his name that just got they got rid of him.
One of the late night Stephen Colbert?
Stephen Colbert, yeah. Stephen Colbert. We did a whole thing on how he bashed me over and over and over again. You guys, I've probably been the second most bashed person by late night other than our president, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean,
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I remember when Jimmy Kimmel had you in the machine and you just do it. You knew that he was mocking you and you don't care. You just go on there.
I don't care because we got to get the word out, and it helped people on the left hear the word instead of the brainwashing garbage they hear every night. I don't care if I got embarrassed or if they're making. Stephen Colbert, there was a coward. He wouldn't even have me on. Absolute coward. So, I am so happy to see him go, because that man is just full of, spreading evil. And that's why, I guess why he doesn't have an audience anymore, why they lose tens of millions of dollars. But I do believe that some of these, your ABCs and CBS of the world, their hidden agenda, they don't care, because they did not want Donald Trump in power either,
Do you know what, Mike? It's so interesting because you're talking about Jimmy Kimmel. I know you believe it, but all these other people are just out there saying it.
Right.
Well, I can guarantee you I wasn't just out there saying it. It was funny because, this was for myself and my friends who were covering all this back after 2020, and then with the Kerry Lake election in 2022. And
right.
We've just been on this. We actually do believe it. And I know that there's grifters and everything and people who
Right.
just take advantage of trends. And I've seen it, but this is real. And it's the fight of our lives, because if we don't have elections, our republic is gone. So, like, for example, there's a number of things that I don't want to see take place in this country. But if you can just run this through, like Kelly Ayotte up there in New Hampshire right now is overcoming the will of the people with the stroke of a pen.
Right.
But here's the reality. She was the deep state plant. They had another guy up there running. I met him. Who would have been better, but they not only do this stuff with machines and everything, but there's also, I remember, so years ago, Mike, I was I was at state convention for the Republican Party, and I was supporting a candidate, and it was for U.S. Senate, and there were three people, competing in this race. And what happened was the candidate that the party wanted to win, who was terrible, he was a terrible candidate. He was allowed in. His people were allowed into the arena early to put their banners up in the right places.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not just machine. There's a whole influence crap
right.
that goes on here too.
Well, and you're right. And here's where, one of the things we could pray for, a guy like let's say a Bill Maher. I mean, he's kind of coming around a little bit. He sees let's say some of these influencers that are on the left. If you get one of them to, let's say a Jimmy Kimmel go, hey, these machines, these computers are a threat to all of us as a people. I don't care who you are. But you know what? I think they won't ever do that because they know without the computers, we're 68% red in this country, maybe more. That's what, what I mean? It's this new common sense party. But you're right. There's always going to be all kinds of cheating and influencing. And when Doug Wardlow ran here in Minnesota, I went down to the primary convention, and they wouldn't even let me go up front. They just little things like that. They wouldn't let people know that I had them. So you're going to have that go on in anything. But here's the difference, everybody. And this was actually said at a trial that I had with the machines in Arizona. And the judge said, well, there's cheating and they've gone on in elections they'll be cheating with paper ballots too. And it's been going on forever. But my lawyer said, well, the difference is you need a cabal of people, or you need a whole massive amounts of people, or you need even these pockets. You might not be able to cheat enough to turn it. But when you have computers, one push of that button, it doesn't take many people. All it takes is this massive internet and everything online, and boom, it's done. It's just like ATMs. They're all tied together. People I think are getting it now. ATM, they're all tied. I can put my ATM card in anything, and everybody knows everything. I can grab my phone and say hello to Tim Cook at Apple. How you doing? Are you listening in? Heck, you can sit in your house and say, with artificial intelligence and stuff now, say, boy, I'm thinking about buying I don't know, a suitcase today. And all of a sudden you'll look over, there's a billboard going, hey, buy a suitcase now, buy a suitcase now. I mean, this is the age we're getting into. And I'll tell you what, I said it 4 years ago, and I said, with the age we're coming into with artificial intelligence, if we don't get people that have the people's back elected to regulate that, it's going to be over, everybody. We've got to have elections rather than selection. So that's why this is the most important thing. And thanks for having me on, Neil. And I want everybody be patient. There's a lot of stuff that our administration can't tell you because the mistakes that have been made before. When you get out in front of it, before they can react to it. That's the best thing,
Yeah,
you got to get out there. Yeah.
Little planning that goes into this, folks. I do have a wedding to get to. Mike, I want to really thank you for coming on. I did see this comment. I had to mention it. Ron from Leonard, Minnesota. Ron, I grew up in Debs, Minnesota, right close to Leonard. That's really awesome. So anyways, Leonard is like a nothing town, man. I'm telling you, but Debs is more of a nothing town. So I wasn't in Debs proper. I was in the burbs, Mike. So
okay. Well, if I run for governor, I'll make sure I make a stop there.
All right. Sounds good. All right, Mike, thanks for coming on. Audience, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Important stream. And I'm so glad you all joined. We'll see you on the next episode, folks. Peace out.